Hey everybody, welcome back to the stream. Sorry I've been absent. I've been having some issues with medical stuff. I don't know if my microphone is working very well. Let's see. Okay, so that should be working fine. And let's get some music in here. So I'll go to Documents. And Resources. Digital Juice. Music. Nope. Stream music. There we go. Let's get some of this going. Okay, so what we have to do today is add some functionality to the game. And what I want to do is add like sort of a door that starts out closed and then it pops something out that you have to punch back in and it'll open the door. Like sort of a spring lock. So it has to fit to this piece. This is an empty zone piece designed to put enemies on walls and stuff. So we'll go ahead and make like a ring for the door. And let me know if you can't hear me or anything. I haven't streamed in a while again because of medical stuff. Not fun. I think 32 is the correct vertex count. Yeah, somewhere around there should be fine. So, rotate this by 90 degrees, move it to the center. I'll go ahead and turn on screencast keys so people can see what I'm doing. And then I will scale this up, move it to the center, which should be 2.5. Nope. 1.25 is the center. Alright, so I got this ring, which can act as our holder for the door. We'll extrude it in here in a second. We'll make this like a fairly thick door. That seems like a pretty... I guess the holder should be a little bit bigger, if that's the door size. So then we'll extrude, we'll scale it in on everything except the y-axis, and then we'll flip the normals. Alright, so that's gonna hold the door. Because we need a little bit of room for this to extrude back in, so it looks like the door is being held by something. So we'll scale this in just a bit like that. Then we'll come in here and we'll make room for the door. We don't want to go too far, we'll just color this black in Substance Painter. Hey, how's it going? I am just working on the game today, doing some modeling. I tried to set the game for this to Punch Bomb. I hope that set up correctly. Hope it doesn't still say Fortnite correctly. I'll go ahead and bevel that, bring it in some. These edges don't need to be beveled. If anybody has any Blender questions or Unreal questions or anything while I'm going, feel free to ask at any time. I'd love to help out. Scale these in because we don't want to waste polygon space. Okay, so that'll hold the door. That's just sort of like, so the door's not going straight through the wall kind of deal. And I think we can add a little bit more detail here. So we'll go ahead and mirror this. No, we won't mirror it. Yeah, we can mirror it. Snap the cursor to selected, object transform, origin to 3D cursor. That'll set the center of the object to the center of the object. Then we can come in and delete all these edges. And we can mirror it on the Y or Z axis. So now everything we do over here will be done over there. We'll go ahead and make a little bit of detail here, just so it looks a little bit more interesting. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start working on the door. We want this centerpiece, the lock, to be like a circle. And we want a specific size for that. We want it to be a similar size to the bombs in the game to give people a hint that they're supposed to punch it. So I'm going to go ahead and append bomb for reference, which will be under assets, enemies, bomb, punch bomb, object. Okay, so that'll give us a size reference, but I think we want to scale it up by 2 in terms of the game size. I'll make sure of that by coming in here. And going to our bomb to make sure the size is correct. So come to our enemies. Standard bomb. And his relative scale is 2, so that's correct. So this is the general size we want for the punch lock. And we'll go ahead and add in the elevator as well. I don't know if we need to do that. We'll just get a general idea of how high it is. So for anybody who hasn't seen the game mode, what it looks like is it's procedurally generated. So if you hit play, you get this procedurally generated tunnel that the player goes through. It's an on-the-rails kind of punching game. So then we can grab our pawn, and we'll just see how high we set him by default. Forget. We'll grab the position once we start the game. Alright, so if we grab the elevator, and we look at the position, it is 220, or minus 182, which would be minus 1.82 in Blender. Because it's centimeters and Unreal meters in Blender. So we'll set the Z to minus 1.82. That'll give us the general floor for where the player is standing. And then we can guess about 5 feet. 5 to 6 feet is where the player's head is going to be. So we'll copy this guy's location, paste it in. Scale it down so it's about head sized, and then on the Z we'll say, let's see, so about, let's say 5.5 feet to meters is 1.67. Gives us the head is about there. And I can test this really fast to make sure that feels about right. So I'm going to hop in here and do a VR preview. I'm sorry if you don't hear me for a bit. I'm taking my headphones off. lagging quite a bit because of all the streaming stuff I have up. But the height is about right. So we want to put the lock a little bit lower than that. So let's say about here is where the lock will be for the door. It's about at your head, that's fine to punch at, but a little bit lower is ideal. So we'll put the lock just a little bit lower than center. And to get started with that, we'll start with a circle. We'll make it 16 vertices. Don't need to go overboard here. And we'll start with this. Looks like my stream health is pretty low. That's unfortunate. I should have I should have pretty fast internet speed, unless it's slowing down right now. I'll run a speed test. Generally, I get about 900 megabits per second. Yep, my speed is definitely alright. Don't know why the stream health is going slowly. But let's go ahead and work on this door anyway. The recording should still be pretty intact. So start about here, and we'll go ahead and make that a face. And we'll take some of these edges and extrude out. I think we can make the circular part of the door a little bit bigger and then have the lock be a smaller punchable size. That'll give us some interesting detail options. Alright, we no longer need the floor or the head, so we can shove these on our garbage layer. Alright, so we just want to make sure that the door is big enough to cover the intersecting part. And then we'll make a circle that's 32 vertices, I guess. We can even just, yeah. Alright, so we'll take a circle, rotate it, delete half of it, scale it up, and oh, we wanted to make sure it was 32 vertices. Scale it up so it goes outside the bounds, but not by too far. Delete half of them. Then we can join it to our door piece. And then merge. Alright, so that gives us one side of our door, kind of. We'll go ahead and fill in this face. And we can triangulate or quad it up later. Right now we just want the shapes. That works pretty well. That'll do. We'll inset this to where we want the lock size about. It looks weird not having that centered. Maybe we'll have it centered vertically, but then have it spring out and sort of bend down a little bit. Like spring out at an angle. That'll be fine. I think it'll be more aesthetically pleasing if the door is centered. And I think we can delete this face and these edges until we figure stuff out. We just know that we have them. because we're probably going to want to make a circular design anyway. Which means, honestly, we might want to create a circle that's 32 vertices just so we can match up with the exterior. Hey Atticus, how's it going? Alright, so then this will be like the little area where the lock is. We'll scale this in. Go ahead and apply a hard ops to this so we can get some nice bevels. And that fits pretty nice. We'll make a separate piece when we get to the lock. We just wanted to make sure the size was about right. And the reason this is going so slowly is just because I don't really know where I'm going with this. I just want to end up making something kind of cool. Okay, so now we can take these edges and these edges, and we can bridge them since they have equal amount of loops, and that'll make it a lot easier to get a cool circular design. Community service is good. Okay, so that'll be the start of our door. And we can even bevel this once we extrude it to make it a little bit less of a hard edge there. But now we can duplicate this, mirror it, and then snap it. So now we've got both halves of our door. We'll go ahead and separate this half out, or I don't know if we need to. We can keep them all in the same object for now. I do think on this side of the door we want some, on both sides of the door we want some sort of edge going around it. So we'll work on that next. And to do that, we'll create a cube. We can always rejoin these later. We want to match this up with the center. Might be easier to take this edge, duplicate that, separate it out, and then just extrude it. Like that. We can delete these end faces because nobody's ever going to see those. And this doesn't quite work. So I think we're actually going to undo everything we've done. A lot of backtracking today. And instead, what we're going to do is scale based on the 3D cursor. So we get about the thickness we want. Then we can deselect these edges and just move these over. And that'll get us a nice even circle, or half circle. And then we're going to want to move this back down. These edge loops are unnecessary. Extrude it out, we can always change the depth later. Oh, I've heard of Paladins. Isn't that by Hi-Rez Studios? That studio is about like 20 minutes from me. We can curve this to make it a bit more natural looking. That looks pretty cool. Okay, we can select some edges. Bevel it, but not too much. Alright, so now that'll open up. Then we can do the same thing on this side. Scale it out. Deselect these, move it over. Delete the unnecessary edge loops. And separate it out. Then extrude it out about as much as this one. If it's offset a little bit, it's not going to kill anything. Delete the unnecessary faces. And we can bevel this a little bit. Not sure what happened here. That's a start. I think we can also bevel this edge a little bit. As well as this one to match. You'll notice we get some issues, and that's because we have the wrong things set to bevel because of the beveling, if that makes any sense. Now that's all fixed. So we can come in here, add some edge loops, and work on the lock part. I don't know why Alt-S isn't scaling how it should. That's pretty weird. Oh, there we go. I guess we just couldn't be on face. I'm working on a sci-fi door, and when the player gets close to it, the lock is going to pop out and you have to punch it back into place so it'll open the door. I think we can bring this out some, make it look like a separate piece. Cool. Right now I'm looking through Google for some general sci-fi door reference. We don't want to get too complicated with it. We just want it to look nice. And we still have to do the other side as well, because if somebody looks behind them and it looks ugly, that's not good. So I just need to figure out what kind of details I want to put on this thing. And I guess the best way to do that is just get started. Maybe we can put like a glowing ring around here. That'd be kind of cool. These guys I think we can mirror. We don't need any of these back faces. And we can move this now to exactly centered, which is 1.25. And then bring it back out so it's thick again. Then we can do the same thing with this one. What I'm doing here is just resetting the origins on these so I can easily mirror them without issue. And then moving them to the exact center so they mirror properly. And I don't think we want to intersect with that corner there. So we'll go ahead and delete these edge loops. Move this one out a little bit. Maybe just to the outside of this one. Something like that. Except I done screwed up again. Lots of backtracking today. And that's okay. Backtracking is fine. It's just gotta do what you gotta do to get the results you want. How long have you been working with Blender? I have to look at the years for that. It's 2018 now. Been out of college for 5 years. Then 4 years in college. Then I guess 2 or 3 years in high school. So I guess about 12 years. This will give us a cool little area to put like a glow tube or something. And we'll mimic that on the other side. I think we'll go ahead and join these actually. And then match that up. I wish you could snap while you're edge sliding, that would be nice. That'll match up there, and then we can extrude this in, snap it, delete the extra faces, delete the extra faces, and you can say remove doubles. And then if we want to move these, we can just scale Shift Y to move it out a little bit. And I'm thinking, well, I'd like a glow tube. So we'll add a torus with 32 major segments. Let's do maybe 8 minor segments. Don't need a lot because it's not going to be. Any book suggestions or course suggestions to keep getting better? Honestly, in my opinion, the best way... shoot, I could go on a rant on this for a while. Like, follow some tutorials if there's a specific skill you want to learn. I mean, Blender Guru, Blender Cookie, all those places are great. But honestly, I think the best way to learn how to do something is set like a personal project goal for yourself. Like, maybe I want to model a car, or I want to do a living room interior, or maybe an attic or something. Just give yourself personal project goals and use Google as you go along the way to sort of figure things out that you need to learn how to do. Like, Because once you know the hotkeys for modeling a car is the same as modeling a table. I mean, everything's exactly the same. So there's going to be things you're going to need to learn how to do, like maybe glass material setups or how to make this light look nice. But overall, the best way to learn, in my opinion, is to just go at it and sort of research things as they come up. Which I know is not the best answer everybody wants to hear, but it's the best way to learn that I've found. Like, I started working on this game about 2 years ago, knowing almost nothing about Unreal Engine, and I've learned so much along the way. Yeah, there was a famous quote, I don't remember who said it, but it was something along the lines of, when you're learning to draw, everyone has like 1,000 shitty drawings inside of them, you just gotta get them out. I'm just gonna create some connection points for the glow tubes. Am I a freelancer? I do some freelance work. I have a full-time office job, though. I work in marketing. And I make animated promotional videos using Blender for a living. But I work with Theory Studios in my free time. Most recently, I worked with them on Man in the High Castle. Alright, and then we have some unnecessary geometry here on the tube, so we can go ahead and add some loops and delete that. Cool. That's a start, and my mind is just blank on where I want to go with this. I just want to make a cool looking door. Alright, so let's say the player's approaching. Give them about 1 map segment's worth of length to react to this. So I want to make like sort of a cartoony spring kind of mechanism that pops out. And I think there's a pretty easy way to do that using the screw modifier. We can get away with like maybe 12 vertices for this. I think that's gonna be plenty, probably even less. Well, we can always delete vertices since this is gonna be easy enough to modify. But we can screw it. along the z-axis is what it looks like it wants to do. I just have to remember the proper way to do this. It's been a while. There we go. Okay, so let's put this along the y-axis, which now means we need to rotate it this way. And we can also give it an object to base it on. And then change the depth. That gives us sort of like a nice spring. And I try to stream Saturdays when I can. I've been off the past couple weeks just because I've been sick. First I had mono. Well, first I had the flu, then I had mono, which took me out of commission for a while. I was still trying to stream, but just felt awful. Currently have an injured foot. Don't know how I even hurt it. I just woke up and my foot felt like it was broken. It's starting to get better. But going forward, I try to shoot for Saturdays at least, and then sometimes during the week when I have time in the evenings because of the full-time job and whatnot. Okay, so we can scale this down significantly. Let's say you want the spring to look like that. And we can move it in. And we can set this to negative something. Again, we want to give the player about one map segment's worth of space to react. Which means we can stretch the spring out a decent amount. Somewhere around there. And then the steps we can turn down a lot. And then we can come into our original circle. And I think that we're going to want to go ahead and delete half of these vertices. I'll duplicate this and put it on the garbage layer just so we have a backup. But that looks fine. And here we can scale this out and in, and when it springs out, I'll just animate the scale in Unreal Engine. But that'll give a mechanism for the player to punch at. And it'll probably spring out like at an angle, so it's at a more punchable height. Cool, that'll give us a spring to work with. So we'll go ahead and take this and the empty object and put those on our trash layer just as a backup. Maybe. No, I think that's enough springing. But we can go ahead and apply our screw modifier. A lot of vertices. And we can work on the lock mechanism that you punch. What I might do is turn this into a skeletal mesh in Unreal so I can have it like pop out and bend down, which might be kind of cool. So it would sort of like bend down like that to the punchable distance. That could be kind of cool. So we need a cylinder. We'll make this 32 vertices. So we can always lower vertex count later fairly easily, but making it higher is a pain. We want to make sure this fits into our locking area, so we'll model it there, and we'll hide the spring for now. We will look at our bomb reference size again, which I don't remember. If I put that on this layer or not. Maybe I deleted it. It's easy enough to get back. So then we just want like an object that looks like you should probably punch it. And for that I'm thinking just maybe a big light. Just a big glowing red or blue light. So I can extrude this out, bevel it, and move this in some. Scale it in some so we get a little bit of an offset here. Move this out. Now we can bevel that until it looks almost spherical. If it's not perfect, nobody will ever know the difference. Oh, so that's like our little object that'll pop out. So if we attach that to the spring, looks something like that. And that's what you're supposed to punch. I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. And that'll allow us to add more detail as well. Wow, that is ugly. Something like that. Any more Fortnite streams? Maybe. I'm not going to completely discount it. We still play Fortnite a lot. I could stream it if people actually want to see that. We're not very good. And I'm happy to stream it if anybody wants to watch that. Oh, we are getting better at Fortnite. I've actually been watching some good streamers, and holy shit, are they impressive. Oh, so this will pop out, the player has to punch it, and that'll open the door. We have all the components for that modeled. You can detail it up maybe in a bit. Yeah, for Fortnite streams, I need to get my green screen set up again behind me, if anybody cares about webcams. But yeah, I can stream Fortnite. I might play again tonight. Oh, that's an interesting shape. So, with this attached in here, we should be able to just scale it in like that. Which looks really bad, but at the speed it's going to happen at the game, it's going to like, blam. So it should be fine. Alright, now I have to figure out what to do with all this blank space on the door. It's just so boring. Maybe some wires. I think we're definitely going to want to add some detail here connecting stuff, so we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, watching people who are actually good at Fortnite was really eye-opening. There's some streamer who's been streaming every day, twice a day, and he has over 1,000 wins. It's insane. I don't have time for that. And what I'm doing here when I delete faces like that is if a face is going behind an object, if it's clipping through it, then when on my UV map, that portion of the face is essentially wasted space. So by cutting out only what's visible on the faces and keeping only that, we can save a lot of space on our UV maps. I forgot to hit Z. If you cut and hit Z, then it'll cut through everything rather than just the top layer. think we can add a couple more of these. That'll give us a little more detail there. Probably even rotate these around a little bit further. But what to do with all of this empty space? I mean, normal door designs are pretty boring. Like in my bedroom, it's a pretty boring design. So I'm just gonna sort of wing it. Wing it and try to make something that looks cool. Adding something in the center like that sort of broke it up, actually. It's not too bad. Maybe another glow tube around the outside, just because glow tubes are neat. And it'll increase visibility. So we can make this one, okay, 32, that's fine. Then 8, that's fine. Scale it up until it's centered on the glow tube place, and then we can Alt-S to scale along normals until it fits. Alright, so then we can duplicate our things. Looks like we got the sizing alright on that. Maybe give this a little bit more room. I'll go ahead and message some friends and see if they want to play Fortnite tonight. We were playing last night, but I didn't stream it. Alright, so then we can duplicate these. And then we can add some linear detail. And we've got like maybe an inch or two of space there from these that we can take advantage of. And we can go ahead and delete excess geometry before we forget. If it overlaps a tiny amount, doesn't really matter. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and separate the tubes out into pieces just so we can easily test the door. Oh, can't easily test the door yet because this is all one object right now. And detail doesn't have to be symmetrical. It's actually probably better if it's not. Let's go ahead and take advantage of this little gap we have here. What is the function or purpose of this little piece other than looking cool? I have no idea. Some people will say make stuff look cool. Some people will say everything needs to have a function. I think I'm saying the function of this is to look cool. In general, I agree with when things are built in real life, they tend to be built with a function in mind, and the design, it's designed around that function. But in terms of a sci-fi game, I would think just make it look cool. If it looks boring, nobody will want to play it. Not that anybody wants to play it anyway, but you get the point. And we can duplicate this, rotate it 180 degrees, move it to this side, rotate on the 3D cursor, let's rotate it 45 degrees. What the hell? That's what I get for having a cheap keyboard. Let's think about this for a second. We want to probably do some cuts into the mesh as well, just because that looks interesting. So let's choose some faces to do that with. So we'll copy this Y value. Then we will take all these, extrude them, paste the Y value. Oh, that didn't work. No, did it? Okay, so Y is up. I guess that means Z is forward back. So copy the Z value. Bridge those. Oh, I see what happened. And then take these and make faces. So we get like a nice cutout. Looks all neat and sci-fi-y. I think we can take it further and just have it match the grounded area though. Ah, forgetting passwords is the worst. Especially if you're really secure and have a different password for everything. So now we can copy the Z here. Paste it. Bridge those. Add faces here. Cool cutout. And then we can bevel this one some to make it look even cooler. And that'll give us an area for this to connect. Then, we do not need all these extra vertices, so we're just gonna select this edge loop here and slide it on over. The triangles will be fine. Yeah, that is the correct one. To remove doubles, that'll get rid of 34 vertices. We'll try to match this edge as close as we can. Oh, why'd you jump? Then we will extrude you out until you match there. Oh, we do want that middle edge so it still looks circular, but we can just triangulate it like that. So now those should all be merged. Those did not for some reason. We can delete all of these faces. These didn't merge either. Then the weird shading is caused by beveling going into not beveling. There we go. And that looks a little bit cooler. Now I can do the same for these 45-degree cutouts as well. And we can cheat a little bit here. You can probably just duplicate this. It should be the same size. Oh, look at that. If only I had selected all the faces, that would have been magic. Did I not get the size of that right? 2 regular segments, 2 small segments, that should be correct. Okay, so I need to divide you, and I need to divide you. Didn't remove any vertices. Woe is me. We can just up the welding distance by a tiny fraction. Oh, 0.1 isn't enough? Not sure why that didn't match up. It's not that big of an issue, just a little more time consuming. Alright, so now all that matches. Then we want to make sure all this is beveled. And then do the same thing over here. It's complete blasphemy that this didn't match up. But it got pretty close. Now we're getting somewhere. Not bad for a sci-fi door. What other kinds of details can we add? I don't know, maybe that's enough. Like, what kind of detail do people really want to put on their doors? Maybe we can start texturing it. I'm just thinking here for a second. So we got 2 glow tubes, this divot area, and then the cutouts. Looking at the rest of the pieces for this part of the map, might be detailed enough. Oh man, what happened here? I'll fix that later. I think that's sufficient. We can go ahead and take this into Substance Painter here in a second. As there's some other stuff we can do with textures as well, like adding warning signs and stuff to the door. Let's go ahead and unwrap this beast. Oh, we have to do the other side. Let's not go ahead and unwrap this beast. Damn it. Other side will make pretty much a duplicate except for the lock. Okay, so I had a little bit of an issue there. I think we're back on track. So now I need to try to match this side, which looks like we have the center set to 0. Huh, we'll just eye it then. Oh, before we get onto this, let's go ahead and triangulate some things to save on poly count. Again, this is just going to save us on some vertices without affecting the look of things. Make sure that all these are set correctly, because the sharp edges weren't set correctly when I did this. Alright, so now we've triangulated all the things that we can. So now we can duplicate this, mirror it. And try to match. If we mirror along 3D cursor, it should match perfectly. So now, on this side, we don't need the lock mechanism because the lock's on the other side. So I think we can just take this edge loop, and I don't know, let's just inset it. Do something like that. That's probably fine. We just want some detail on this side in case somebody decides to look backwards while it's closing. Alright, so now, take all these, mirror those around. We're going to do some more optimizations on the tubes when we get to the UVing. I think we can fit the entire door on one UV sheet, and that'll make life easier for texturing. Oh, that could be kind of cool. If we add some divisions here. And give these a little bit of depth. Oh, that's a lot better. And again, if any of you missed it earlier, if you hit K and then C will snap it to 45-degree increments, and then Z will make it cut all the way through. Okay, let's get to unwrapping this thing. And we don't, since the outside edge of these doors is never seen, we don't need to worry about connecting these. So we want to go ahead and separate our doors. Which is super easy. just do one of those things. You're going to notice that we have an issue here. And that's going to be easy enough to fix. So what we can do is just connect these temporarily enough to bevel it. As we want the door to be within the molding. Okay, and then we can delete these extra faces. Oh, we never beveled the tops. Let's try to match the bottom there. Just enough like that. There should be, oh, we need to get rid of those faces. And then we can bevel this one to match. And then do the same thing here. All right. So now we need to fix this one up. Then we can select all of these ones, deselect all of these ones, and then scale based on 3D cursor, just in a little bit. Nobody will ever know the difference. Not sure what's going on there. Oh, right. Those are the faces we created to bevel. We don't need those anymore. Alright, so now the other side, let's make sure there's nothing sticking out. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, the edges are exactly matching up right now, so I might want to move those in a tiny bit. Just enough. Doesn't have to be anything special. Cool. So now there's nothing sticking through. Alright, now for the glow tubes, I said we were going to do some optimizing here. So from the front, we're not going to be able to see the back two faces. So we can just... yeah, so there's no situation where we're going to see those. And the same applies here. And the same applies here. And here. Oh, I meant the small one. That just saves us on some faces. It's not a huge amount, but every little bit helps. And there is no reason to have unnecessary faces. I don't know, this might be stretching it a little bit. I mean, to be honest, I don't think anybody would know the difference. And I think we can do the same on these. Yeah, if we only have half of these showing, I don't think anybody will ever know the difference. Cool. So, we need to make some layer room. We'll go ahead and put all the door stuff on this layer, so we have access to 2 layers. And we'll start unwrapping. Oh, and we gotta apply stuff first. So, it's working on just this guy. Go ahead and turn on the segments for the bevel to 2, because 2 is much more reasonable. I think we'll go ahead and scale this up some. Then we will put this on the trash layer, apply the bevel. I think what we're going to do is just cut this out altogether. Oh, what's up, Sterling? How's it going? Hey, David. I am just making a mediocre sci-fi door. Alright, so what we can do is we're going to triangulate this, because if you triangulate n-gons, you get better UV results. Man, now the pressure's on. Alright, and then I think what we're going to do is make this flap out. So to do that, we can cut along these edges. So it'll be stretching a lot less. And we did it on the interior, so we want to match that on this side. Aw, man. Alright, so that looks a lot better in terms of deformation. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just cut the whole thing out. And then do some butterfly wings. And we'll also go ahead and triangulate this as well. Oh, we're getting somewhere. And then I think what we're going to have to do is cut these seams since that's too deep. And then we'll get some straight pieces. Same thing on the other side. And then this is a little bit deformed, and we can clear that up a little bit. By cutting it apart. Oh wow, that turned out a little bit weird. For this specific thing, looks like angle-based is doing better than conformal, so we'll stick with that. Alright, in terms of unwrapping, I think this looks fairly decent. I wish these turned out a little bit better. I think I know the reason why. We can cut out the divots. And that'll give us a better shape overall. And we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Having to keep up with two sides is a little bit difficult. The UV sheet is spaced out horribly right now, but we're not going to worry about that until we get the rest of the stuff UV'd. So we'll put this on the UV'd layer and move on to the next piece. We'll grab this guy. This should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, okay, 6 users. So you can't apply modifiers to a multi-user object. So how we'll fix that is we will just make it a single user. We'll give this guy 1 bevel because nobody will ever know the difference. And then we can apply that, unwrap it, see how it does, very poorly. This one's going to be a little bit complicated to unwrap. Okay, a lot complicated to unwrap. I might just want to cut these off altogether, which is gonna be weird. Okay, so we can clear the seams. Cut that off. Cut that off. And overall, that doesn't seem too terrible. It's not perfect either, though. Maybe we can cut across here too. And that looks nice, but oh my gosh, so many pieces for one object. Conformal seems to work a little bit better. I think we need the cuts though. Okay, so now we can select all of these, delete the bevels on them. Select them all again. Then select one that's already UV'd. We go to Control L, link the object data, join them all into one piece, and unwrap them. Those are now... Oh, we can triangulate this too. So... yeah, let's... that should actually make things a lot easier for the unwrapper to figure out. It keeps, if you have an N-gon and you triangulate it, it makes it a lot easier for the unwrapper to know the actual shape of your island. But let's see if that actually helps us at all. Not really. We'll just keep that cut up and hope for the best. Excuse me. So now we'll join all these. Make sure their normals are facing the right way. And unwrap. So those are unwrapped. Again, we'll worry about packing when we get there. Right now we are just unwrapping things. I think we can take all these tube pieces and join them. Oh. Oh, I guess I forgot to delete parts of these ones. Just make sure we didn't delete anything important. And then we have to do the same thing on this side. Make sure we didn't delete anything important. Nobody will ever notice the difference. And then I think we can even split these in half to give us more options for the UV packer. Alright, those are unwrapped. Put those on that layer. Next we'll work on this. This has multi-user data. These don't need a lot of beveling. Just enough so it catches the light. So go ahead and triangulate this. And then we'll cut off wings. And that looks pretty good. So now we can delete the bevels on these. Link the object data, join them, unwrap, and send those to the first layer. So now for this piece, which we do need the back of, and this one's going to get close to the player, so we'll give it 2 bevel segments instead of just 1. And we'll apply that. We'll go ahead and save as a new iteration. Mark seam. And we don't need super long pieces, so we'll split that in half. And then we will, okay, we already cut there. We don't need all these vertices. Mark a seam there. We got some extra edge loops from having bevel applied where it wasn't supposed to be. And then we can cut this edge in 2 places as well. And as I said earlier, nobody's going to see the back of this, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot. But we do want something there just in case somebody like peeks their head around because they're curious or dumb. And in terms of this piece, this is just going to be like a shining orb area, so that doesn't have to be perfect. But there are some edges we can get rid of. Probably even get rid of that one and nobody will know the difference. And then if we want to mess with the stretching, we can hit Control V. And it'll try to even it out as best as it can. And we'll rely on the UV packer when we get there. But that's unwrapped. The spring. Gee, I do not know the best way to unwrap this. Holy shit, that actually worked pretty well. So now we can just cut it in a few places, like maybe once, yeah, we can just cut it every coil. And it should work fine. Wonder if we just do that, that'll be a lot easier. Haha, that's not bad. And again, we're going to try to fit everything on one UV sheet, I think. So now we'll work on the door again. We only need 2 bevel segments. And we'll go ahead and apply that. Would have been smart to UV this before I mirrored it. Ooh, that was unforeseen. We're gonna undo everything we just did so we can fix an error. That is not supposed to be beveled. And then while we're here, we'll go ahead and triangulate this. And I need to remember to fix the same issues on the opposite side. Alright, now we're back in business. So now we can apply the bevel. And just cut all this stuff. And then we're going to have to cut these the same way we did the other ones. UV unwrapping is super boring, so I apologize for you all having to watch this. I guess you don't have to, but could be working on much more interesting things, but it's an important part of the process. I don't know how much of this I already marked, so there we go, that works. Now the other side. That's 3 down, 1 to go. Yeah, that looks about right. And again, once we do the packing, it'll take advantage of all this space. But we're not there yet. I think we can go ahead and join all of these tubes. Unwrap those, and then the big ones we can, and the little ones I guess too, we can cut in half. Okay, so now these, I'm going to link all of them to one, I guess, as soon as I unwrap one of them. So we'll apply the bevel. Oh, this is multi-user. We'll apply the bevel. That's pretty ugly. That looks a lot better. So now I'll come through and unbevel all these. I wish there was an easier way to do all this at once. If anybody knows of any ways, let me know. But that should be all of them. So now we can link all of these to that one object. And then join them. Fix the normals. And then we're going to want to take all the ones from this side and separate them. Because they're going to be on each side of the door. Not that it matters. I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting everything on the same UV sheet anyway and separating them out for Unreal. And I think okay, I did get rid of the faces on the back, so that's good. These guys, we can get rid of some faces here. Or some wasted UV space anyway. By adding an edge loop. And then deleting these faces. We need the ones connecting here. Oh. Oh, I did a stupid thing. Actually... Or we can just take the one edge and drag it down. And same on this side. And same right here. After mirroring, we're probably actually going to end up with more faces, but less wasted real estate on the UV map. So then I think we can just grab all the edges that we need to at once. Move them all in. Wow, that's a pretty far distance. But that looks like it works. Let's go ahead and unwrap these. We'll give these each 2 bevel segments. I'm not really sure the best way to unwrap these. We're just going to give them some generic material anyway. But we'll go ahead and cut around the corners. Haha, cutting corners, get it? That actually looks like it worked pretty well. Yeah, that's not terrible at all. So those are unwrapped. Let's see what's left. It looks like just the outer ring, which the outer ring will probably be on its own material. And we might detail this up a little bit more. Let's work on the door first. I'm thinking the best way to do this will be split it into quadrants. I really kind of want to detail this up more. I guess it fits, though. I mean, the only part that doesn't logically make sense is up here, but I can just add a block up there. Let's go ahead and do that. And we can just take these edges and scale based on the 3D cursor. Until it covers that up. I think that's plenty. So we'll give this 2 bevels. We'll go ahead and apply the mirror. And then we'll just cut. And I think what we want to do is also cut around here. And we're gonna put like some sort of track. Oh wait, no, we want that to be pretty much solid black. I think this is sufficient though, and we can always change it later. We're gonna put this on its own material. This will be Z2 door ring. And the rest will be Z2 door. All this is unwrapped, and all the modifiers are attached. So we don't want this or this to be affected by occlusion. So for that sake, we'll move them away. And we'll give everything the doormat. After we unwrap it all. And then we'll run through, let's try 75 iterations, margin of 0.15, and we'll start to pack it. Which is going to take a little bit of time, so we'll just sort of chill out here and listen to some elevator music. It's thinking. Only 7% there, that's gonna take a while. %. Oh, it finished. And it did a shitty ass job. So now is the point where we try to figure out how to make this better. Or try to do it manually, which... Let's give it some more iterations. With 125 iterations, this is going to take even longer, but let's see what happens. This is an important part of getting it right. Wow, this is taking a while. %. I have a feeling this is going to be a tough one for it to figure out with all the curves. So in the meantime, I can just look up some really bad jokes. Let's see what Reddit Jokes has to offer today. I don't know if this one is borderline racist or not, but it says, give a Nigerian a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a Nigerian 2 fish and he'll become a prince and start emailing people. "10 years ago, I married my best friend. My wife is still really angry about it, but me and Dave were drunk and thought it was funny. This one took me a while to get. If Farmer A sells apples, Farmer B sells bananas, what does Farmer C sell? Medicine. Oh my gosh, only 11%. %, it's thinking. Apologize for how boring this is. I'm just hoping it comes up with a reasonable solution. Okay, it got us most of the way there. We might have to separate out the doors onto their own texture sheets, though. Which I'd much rather not do. But we can manually fit these pieces in fairly easily. If we move these over, maybe we can, just like that. And then, so close. So close. Oh, I know what we can do here. It's gonna mean redoing stuff a little bit. But we can take these pieces and divide them where they're covered instead of it down the middle, and that'll give us more pieces for the UV packer to work with. Yeah, so that'll give us 3 pieces. 3 pieces, 2 pieces. Okay, so now let's give it a little bit more iterations to work with. $175. And this is going to take a while. I apologize ahead of time. I'm probably just going to play some Tetris on my phone. The problem with playing Tetris on your phone is that the controls really suck. Like, it has to guess what you want, kind of. So you could be trying to rotate a piece, but it may slide it. %. Ugh. At least it seems to speed up when it gets a little bit further along. It's like it's going through as many iterations as it can, and then it's picking the best one. %, 12, getting there. Alright, 71%. We're getting there. Let's hope it's not a complete disaster and this wasn't a total waste of time. This could have been much better. I think these are being problematic. So we're gonna cut them up and do it again. Oh boy. And it looks like there we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and cut these up quite a bit. And then I'm gonna run this and I'm gonna go watch TV while I wait for it, but I'll keep an eye on it. So yeah, there aren't a ton of people watching, so not really expecting any questions or anything. So we'll just hit start pack, and I'll be back when it's done. Hey everyone, this is taking longer than I thought it would, so what we're gonna do is pause the stream or turn the stream off, and then I'll come back when I'm texturing this. So, I guess I'll see you then.